Skills for a prepper are extremely important. As a matter of fact, ultimately, you are your own best prep. You yourself. Not all of the stuff that you have, or all of the items you've accumulated, or all the places that you can go. What you can do with the knowledge that you have is really the core of what it's going to take to keep you alive. That being said, there is a big difference between knowledge and application. You can have a lot of knowledge about a subject, but if you do not actually practice doing it, then you have a problem. There is a gap. It's like a bicycle. You can look at a bicycle and you can see how it works, but can you ride one? You don't just jump on a bicycle and make it work. It takes practice. Then you're fine. But you don't just make it work the first time you get on it because you know the mechanics of it. The same thing goes with any skill. It must be practiced. So here we go. Top 10 prepper skills that may help keep you alive when shit hits the fan. In no particular order. Number 1, hunting and fishing. Hunting and fishing is going to be very important. You need to be able to procure food. Hunting and fishing doesn't mean just going out and shooting something or trapping something. There is a lot that goes with this that a lot of people do not think about. Yeah, if I get hungry, I'll just go out and shoot something. And then what? Do you know how to gut it properly? Do you know how to skin it properly? Can you even go through the process? Some people are all talk and no action when it comes to something like that because they've never experienced it. It can be foul, especially with a large animal. If you've never done it before and this is on the table for you in a prepper situation, you had better try doing it at least once just to see what it looks like and to know what you're getting yourself into. Number 2, being able to identify edible plants and knowing what to do with them. Knowing how to identify the plants isn't enough. Have you ever actually tried to eat wild edibles? Some of them are pretty bland. Some of them may not taste very good to you. Your palate may not be able to handle right now what that's going to be like. You need to actually go out and find wild edibles and prepare them properly and taste them and eat them. Find a good book on the subject, a good guide, and know what the edible plants are in your area. Because I'll tell you what, going back to number 1, that hunting and fishing is going to run out pretty quick. Take a look at Venezuela right now. You can't find a rat, a pigeon, an ant, or an animal in the zoo. They've eaten everything they can get their hands on. You're not going to run out in the backyard and shoot a squirrel because they'll be gone. As soon as all the food that can be gathered up or looted from the obvious places is gone, you're not going to be able to go out hunting because everyone will have already run out and killed everything they can. Edible plants is a good go-to to fall back on. Number 3, first aid. It's one thing to know first aid, it's another thing to actually do it. There's a reason why people go through drills on first aid scenarios. Reading it out of a book and applying it in application are not the same. You need to practice the basic methods of first aid so that you can be proficient with it in an emergency. Number 4, hiking and camping skills. Odds are, in a real grid down, you're going to spend a lot of time on your feet. You may spend a lot of time walking or running. Can you do that? Can you walk all day? Can you walk 20 miles if you had to? Can you jog 10? A lot of people are not in the kind of shape that they would need to be if they did not have their modern conveniences. Hiking skills and basic camping skills. Can you set your tent up? Do you know where to put it? Can you build a lean-to? Have you ever done that? A lot of the things that people know about out of books and off of videos, they have never actually tried to do. Practice those skills, even if you're doing it in your backyard. Number 5, brought this up a few times, orienteering. You have maps. Do you know how to use them? Do you know how to use a basic compass? A lot of people have a big, fancy, expensive compass, don't know what it does, other than north, south, east, and west. And often that's enough, but you have to be able to properly read your maps, have actual paper maps in hand, and know how to use them properly. Practice with it a little bit. Take some classes on full-scale orienteering. It could save your life. Number 6, water treatment. You may have some water stored up, and there may come a time where you have to go out and procure water from local resources, maybe out of a pond, a stream, maybe out of a rain barrel, wherever you're going to get your extra water from when you run out. Do you know how to take care of it properly? Don't just read about this. Don't just have water purification tablets or whatever you've got. Actually practice using these and taste the water, because there is a big difference between the bottled water in the supermarket and water that you filtered yourself. You better learn about it now. Number 7, swimming. Can you swim? You'd be surprised how many people cannot swim, and those who cannot swim proficiently. We may not all be in a location where you're going to have to, but if you ever need to, that's something that you had better know how to do right, because it's the difference between life and death very quickly if you end up in deep water. Number 8, working with your hands. And I'm talking about mechanical working or woodworking skills, plumbing skills, any kind of skills that you can use to rebuild, to repair vehicles, engines, property, to build a house from scratch if you had to, build a shed, whatever you've got to do. And can you do it without power tools? That's the real question. Because if the grid's down, you don't know how long it's going to be down. What if it turns out to be a year, 5 years? What are you going to do? It would be a good thing if you could operate hand tools on your own proficiently. Number 9, and I put this separately from the hiking and camping skills, fire starting. Fire starting is a skill, it's an art, and it's not always that easy. A lot of people cannot start a fire. They think they know how, they have all of the little tools and gadgets, and then they get out in the woods and they sit there for hours and hours and hours. It's not that easy. This is something you should practice. Go out in the backyard and practice it. You have a fireplace in your house? Start your fire with your fire starting tools. Get into the habit of being able to start a fire on the fly if you had to. It is not as easy as it looks on TV. Number 10, martial skills. Most preppers have a firearm. What if you ran out of bullets? And how much can you carry? What if you had to bug out? Ammunition is heavy, very heavy, and it can weigh you down, and you can burn through it very quickly. It's something that you should be sparing with, only shooting if and when you absolutely have to. So what skills do you have to either hunt or defend yourself if necessary without the use of a firearm? Can you use a spear? Can you use a club? Can you use a traditional bow and arrow? Can you fight with a knife? A sword? What else can you do to defend yourself with or without a weapon if you did not or could not use a firearm? This is very important and something to really think about. Once again, if the grid did go down, if it crashed for a very long time, ammunition is going to go quick. I know a lot of people have a lot of ammunition saved up. They really stocked a crap ton of ammunition. However, like I said, what if you had to bug out? You cannot carry all of that with you. There's only so much you can handle. And cutting into that a little bit, call this a number 11 if you will, know when to let go and actually do it. Bugging in is something that a lot of people are probably going to end up doing because they don't have a place to go. It's not that they don't have a plan. A lot of preppers say have a plan, have a place to go, and know where to go. Many preppers, I'll remind you again, are city dwellers. They're living in apartments, they're living in rented houses, They don't have anywhere to go. They can't afford a place in the country. They can't afford a bunker. It's not going to happen. So they're going to have to sit tight for a while. But there is going to come a time where you may have to cut out. Know when that time is and be willing to let it go. So I hope you found this list helpful. If you have anything you would like to add to the list, please feel free to post it in the comments section down below. It could save someone's life one day. You never know. Do give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Share the video if you can, and subscribe if you are new. Hit the notifications bell icon and check out some of the other videos. You may find something useful to you. I can also be found on another channel called Coffee Talk. Check it out if you get the chance. There will be a link for that down below. And that being said, stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.